curious, how does this play out for yourself in terms of the videography, the photography, all the discussions which you have? How in real life does this play out with your client? And how have they had those light bulb moments? What has it actually meant for them? Feel free to be as specific as you like.
Yeah. So I've got many of those stories, even from the days where before even I did video. So even with photography, most clients would come to me thinking they need a headshot. And by headshot, they were thinking something I compare to passport photo. So a photo of them looking at the camera, you know, shoulders and up on a white background. That's what they think they needed.
Yes.
During the discussion, we then discovered that that's the last thing they do need, because this doesn't differentiate them from anyone else. This doesn't tell anyone anything they need to know about what they do, what they represent, how they do things. And then we go into all the discussions of everything else we can do about it. So anything about the experience they offer to the clients. So they never considered showing their clients in the photographs working with them, or them working with their clients. That's a really, really important piece of content, that when their client sees a photograph that represents that person working with people that they can identify themselves with, they also look at where they are. Is it, you know, in a coffee shop? Is it in a field? Is it in the office? Is it in a conference room? So everything plays a huge difference into how it's being received. But it's crucial to have your clients represented in the photographs in a way that they can identify themselves with. So that basically sets the expectations right. Then we go through everything else, what the sales process looks like, the testimonial photographs and video, everything else that you mentioned, presentations and public speaking, being on, you know, showing them on a stage, audiences that positions them as an expert. And we should talk about positioning. That's
Sure,
really important.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll make sure we talk
Positions them as an expert on, and then how big is the stage? Who's in the audience? Are we talking during a gala dinner? Are we talking about professional training or a conference, or you know, who's introducing them to the stage and so on? So all those things play a huge role, and we just build on that. And that's even before we begin with video. Video takes that to 10th level. So
Absolutely. So maybe have you got a client in mind who you loved working with because of the outcomes they received and how excited they were by them? Can you think of someone in mind that, you know, your videography clients, of which you have many and had many in the past, to really give people a sense of how our expertise can translate, you know, into working with our clients and what results that can really get for them?
Not sure how specific should I get, but let's talk about, okay, a certain lady,
Yes.
certain lady that helps women from her local boutique in the outer suburbs. So she helps women with a specific problem. She came to me because she was updating her website. She needed a few photographs of her and her staff and the boutique. So that project extended into creating a whole visual identity for her, then creating a video where she, in an emotional way, makes her clients understand why she's doing what she's doing. And then that's leading now into the whole strategy to let her reach her clients globally. So she was trapped in one little boutique. She opened another one on the other side of the city, but she was then traveling between them. She had to train new staff and so on. Now she wants to expand a little bit, and video now comes into its own, because now we can create content where she's building a position and the expertise, the perceived expertise to a worldwide audience. So people now can contact her from all over the world. She can then help them through Zoom consultations, but then the physical products that she used to do in her boutique, she now sends to local boutiques in that person's vicinity, along with the video instructions to the technicians who will be applying those products in a way that she's confident about the quality of the product and the quality of the training she gave to the specialists so far away that she never would have been able to work with them. So video helps her in two ways. One is to answer to a global audience all the questions they have about the product. This is a very, I don't want to reveal too much. It's a very hard time that those women are going through. It involves cancer and diseases, but she transformed their lives and their perception and their feeling and everything else. And this usually comes with a lot of questions from them. So her being able to answer those questions and help women across the world is a huge thing. And then be able to provide them the service and the product even around the world, ensuring the quality along the way. It's all just due to the video. And it started with a simple couple photos for a new brochure, and because she was opening a boutique.
And then the magic happens.
And the magic
then
happens.
Business strategy.
Yes.
It formed almost an entire business strategy. And this is the thing, when we open our mind up to the possibility and potential of things, it's incredible how they expand. So, similar instances for myself as well with developing business strategies with clients. And I work with clients who have varied backgrounds as well. Some of them do deal as well with very sensitive information, or their client base, for whatever reason, it is quite a sensitive topic of what they work on. Others, it's sensitive because it is new age. It's not out there. It's technology that is right on the edge. In fact, it's not just the edge, it is the edge. That's how new their technology is. And I also delight in having these opportunities to really take a deep dive, which is exactly what you're just talking about, and for this particular woman, how you've changed her life for the better, how you've used brand identity to propel her to whole new heights. She may have had a moment pinching herself and thinking, is this real? This is where my business is going, and look at how far my vision can spread. And also the pragmatics, as well as you were saying, traveling between multiple business spaces with the incredible features of technology which we now have. People don't need to make those quantum leaps. We can communicate so clearly with different platforms as well, and that's a slightly different topic we won't talk about today, but the visual brand identity, the technology, the incredible videography and photography, that can do so much more than what many people believe to be the case from the outset. So that's a topic for another time, potentially. But when you mentioned positioning, this got me thinking about clients that I work with, and particular stories that I have in my mind as well, and how they position themselves initially, and then as you work through the different phases of the project with them, what happens and how they evolve and how they transform. And the work that I do, and one of my clients once said this to me, they said to me, how do you describe yourself in Clarified Solutions? I said, well, I'm a business strategy consultant. And they said, how do you describe your technique? And I looked at them and I thought, well, I'm not often lost for words. I said, what specifically do you mean? They said, well, your approach, what outcome does it create for your clients? I said, well, it's transformative. And she went, that's it. It's transformative.
Yeah.
It's transformative coaching, transformative consultation. And ultimately, for those of us who are aware that we're forever creating fresh versions and sides of our identity, it is transformation that we're working towards. So one client in particular who, once again, I shall not talk about specifics in terms of who this client is, so that she can maintain her privacy, but what she does is incredible. This particular client works very closely with her clients on very sensitive topics, intimate topics, about the various relationships which they have, and the way they relate to certain people in their families and beyond as well. And this client draws upon an incredible range of experience and a huge amount of learning. So you can imagine the narrative they already bring to their brand identity. They know that they have been trained, for example, by Tony Robbins. They know they've been trained by a whole range of other names, which I won't go into today. And this gives them that vantage point. This positions them as a subject matter expert and as someone who is so grounded within themselves, in their own identity, that the next step for them is thinking, okay, my identity is grounded as a human being. I'd like to create a brand identity as well that's linked directly to this person. I mean, their brand is their name. So, it's very, very important how they're represented. And with this particular person, so as we worked together, it was amazing seeing these light bulb moments, and that's what I call them, light bulb moments. You see the glint in people's eyes, you see their mind going into fifth gear, you can just see all of these things happening for them when previously they'd limited the scope of possibility of the work on the project you're doing together to this. And then when it starts to creep and they realize, my goodness, there's so much, they ask them questions, more engaging and open-ended questions, and then you're able to really layer that brand identity. So the process unfolds naturally and very organically, which I think is very important for my approach with my clients. All of the clients I work with are founders, CEOs, managing directors, as I mentioned earlier in this discussion. And these are people who every single day are questioned. Who are you? What do you represent? Why should I work with you? Why shouldn't I work with you? And they are consciously aware of this, sometimes too consciously aware. And that's another side of the coin as well. So with this particular experience I had with this client of mine, we went through these incredible rounds. It was very detailed. So I designed the copywriting collaboratively, of course, but I was giving a lot of input for a brand new look website for this particular client. She really opened up and trusted me with helping frame this brand identity. And by the time we were finished, I remember clicking open that website for the first time once it had been updated by the technical team and IT experts that were behind it as well. I remember opening the website, and I remember the feeling that I got, knowing how much was involved. Every button, every color code and color gradient, and every image, every choice of word, every navigational technical tool that we'd used and we discussed, every single element, it's all synthetic. We create everything in this site, and that's what's brilliant about it, but in a way we also needed to work through that, make it more human, build that brand, build that story, not make it as technically brilliant as it was, sort of soften those elements a little bit, but still have them there in the background to serve the purpose that they serve. And I remember this feeling of opening this website, and I don't normally do this with clients, and I of course was doing this in the privacy of my own office, but I could feel like tears in my eyes because I knew, and I said this to my client whilst we were working together. I said to her, these product descriptions that I'm writing right now for you, what do you think they're going to do in the coming years and eventually maybe decades unless the product has changed? I said, what do you think the outcome is going to be? And she looked at me, and I remember her looking and squinting and saying, what? She's a very straightforward person, and she says it as she thinks it, which is brilliant, and I appreciate that. She went, what are you talking about, Caitlin? And I said, these product descriptions are the link between people first becoming aware of this product or service you offer, the critical moment where they decide what to do next, and then what they do. And I said to her, my wish for you, and what I believe these product descriptions will do with all of your expertise you bring to your work, is these product descriptions are going to create hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales. And I said it straight. I stand behind it because I know it will. And she sat back in her chair and she looked at me and she said, yes, it will. There we are. The power of narrative. I knew that each element of this website were going to be very powerful because there were high-end products which she was offering. I knew the dollar value of them that they represented. And I knew that most certainly at least 10 to 20 to 30, as things roll along, would easily be achieved. And that's what value it represents from a financial perspective. Because of course you and I, we're always thinking about this for our clients. We want them to be successful. We want them to be in a business ecosystem that's self-supporting. And that's what we're part of. And I see it as such a privilege to be part of that and to be able to be a part of the expertise that they draw upon for their different projects. So these stories, as you can tell from me, even recounting it, it's powerful. And this is how we live our lives. We tell our lives through stories. And ultimately, I personally believe my business philosophy and personal philosophy is our story is our greatest gift, because that is ultimately how things will play out for us. That is what we offer others, and that is what we offer ourselves as well. So with that all in mind, and with these incredible clients that we have the privilege to work with.
Thank you for joining us to up-level your business, skills, and knowledge. Click the links below and subscribe to the Clarified Solutions social media platforms to receive regular updates. Weekly resources will be provided, along with gifts, to assist you in your journey in up-leveling your business expertise and confidence. We look forward to continuing to support you in your journey as you become the leaders and the business experts you wish to be.